Hey, welcome back. I'm Mira. I'm an executive coach for high performing professionals who are done being exhausted. I help people save 10 hours a week and set better boundaries that actually stick and make real time for their family, for their health, and themselves without feeling the guilt and without feeling like you're falling behind. This is Power Without Pressure, and today we are talking about something that nobody warns you about when you take a demanding job. Let's talk about you're closing your laptop, you're done with work, but your brain doesn't stop. You're still having work thoughts. You're still at work. Mentally, you're still at work, but physically, you know you're done with working. You're at your dinner table. You have still lingering working thoughts, and you're thinking about the morning meeting, the morning mails, the mails that are coming, and or you are on a day off, you're running through your to-do list, or you're trying to rest, but work is right there with you. If that's you right now, stay with me. This one is for you. Someone sent me a message recently that stopped me and that stayed with me, that stuck with me. She said she worked at startups because she wanted to learn from ground up. She was doing great on papers, but even on her days off, or even when work was done, work was always there. Work was always mentally there for her, and she was always thinking about the next thing, the next task, what is going to be tomorrow, how the work day is looking um, for her tomorrow. And she would try to open up to her friends, to her colleagues, and it just felt like no one really got it, what she was going through. And she worked remotely, she felt isolated, and at the end of the day, there was no sense of accomplishment, just more of the same way. And that stuck with me, that hit me, because it's not just about the workload, it's about never being able to land, to rest, to um, feel like you can come home and be able to switch your mind. And you finish a task and you feel like there's another, and always another, and you feel like you are not able to log off, or you log off and your mind stays on. You try to rest and the guilt shows up asking if you've done enough to even rest. And the body is technically off the clock, but the nervous system is still running the work shift. And that is not a discipline problem, and that is also not a time management problem. That is a pattern you are currently operating, and this pattern can be changed. When work follows you everywhere, it's usually not because you love work, you work too much. It's because you learned and you started believing that being always available means that you are safe, that staying on means that you are valuable, and that resting feels like risking something. And when you work remotely and you are isolated on the top of that, there is no natural buffer, there's no natural limit that you can create a physical stop for you in order to do something else, in order to create this change between work life and private life. There's no commute that forces a transition, no team lunch that breaks the pattern, just you, the screen, and a loop that has no clear end. The isolation makes it even worse because you start internalizing everything. There is no one to normalize what you are going through. So you start thinking something is wrong with you, and there isn't. But the pattern needs to shift. And I want to give you 5 shifts today that can actually create this change. There is this. We need identity level changes. Let's talk about these identity level changes. The first shift is, if you believe rest is a reward you have to earn, you will never fully rest. There's no way. If your core belief is you need to earn rest in order to in order to rest, then you will never fully rest. And rest is not the end of a productivity. It's what makes sustainable performance possible. The version of you who shows up well rested, closes more, thinks clearly, and leads better. Rest is something that fuels you up in order to be more focused, more attentive, and you are able to perform better. Second, being reachable 24/7 is not a career strategy. It's a pattern that trains people to expect more of you and more from you while leaving less and less for you. You are not more valuable because you never stop. You become less effective because you never recover. And when you work from home, this is a third shift. Your brain doesn't automatically know the workday has ended. You have to create that signal. A short walk, changing clothes, closing the laptop in a different room. And it is really important if you work remotely that you have a separate workroom, that you can physically just walk away from the room and close the door and you know, okay, I'm done. Something physical that tells your body, we are done now. This is not soft. This is how the brain works. And the next shift is when you are remote and you are dealing with hard stuff alone, and you're already alone because you're working from home, there is no release point here. You carry it all internally. Finding even one person who gets it, who gets you, whether that's a coach, whether that's a community, or one honest friend, changes the weight of it significantly. You were not built to do this alone. We humans are social beings. We need communities in order to be seen, in order to be heard, in order to feel like, yes, what I'm going through is valid and I'm not alone with this. Last but not least, that feeling at the end of the day when nothing feels like enough, it's not because you didn't do enough, it's because there is no clear definition of done. When everything feels equivalently urgent, nothing feels complete. When you know your three priorities for the day, you can actually finish something, and finishing something feels good. That's why it's so important that you already are creating something physical on a physical note, or when you are better with a notepad, that you have the priorities right, that you know what the day needs and what you need, what the day at work needs from you, that you know the priorities. And when you have the three priorities, it already gives you the feeling of, when I'm done with it, I have an outcome and it feels, you create the relief. And there will be no finished to-do list because there will always be a task to do. That's why create priority lists, not to-do lists, because to-do list is something equal to a wish list. If you see yourself in any of this, what we talked about, I want you to hear something clearly. The fact that you are stressed, isolated, and unable to switch off is not a personality flaw. It's a signal that the way you are working currently is not sustainable, and sustainable is something you can actually build, and you can always build when you decide that you are ready for change. You don't have to keep coping. You can create a way of working that leaves room for you, for your family, for your health, and for the version of you that isn't just performing but actually living. That's what this work is about. My program, a one-on-one sorry, program, the Real I Method, helps high-performing professionals save 10 hours a week, set better boundaries that actually stick, and create real time for the family, for their health, and themselves without feeling guilty, without feeling like you're falling behind at work. If you're tired of dragging the weight of work into your evenings, into your weekends, into your private life, this is where that changes. Every week you wait, the pattern gets more familiar, the nervous system gets more wired to stress, and the gap between who you are at work and who you want to be at home gets wider. You don't have to wait until burnout forces you to change. You can choose it now. and you create the change. You create the perfect timing. There's no perfect timing. You create the change and seeing, taking full responsibility for yourself and seeing the way you are currently operating is not helping you. It's not helping you to to move forward. That's why you have to take full responsibility in order to change now, and you can choose it now. I want to give you that easy step that we look at it together, where your gap is, and we will figure out exactly what's keeping you stuck and what to do first. Simple steps and totally free. DM me reset, and I will send you the link to book a call with me right straight to your inbox. It only takes 2 minutes, and we we will look at exactly where the gaps are and what's keeping you stuck and what are the simple steps to take now. Thank you for watching, and we will see us in the next live.